A week and a day and the session will be over. Last time around, the governor called a special session. What might keep lawmakers here for the summer this time? So we've been talking about this earlier, and you mentioned something about redistricting. It seems like that might actually be one of the ones that pushes us into a special session.
The discussion on redistricting is whether to have the legislature bless and approve the maps that the courts have drawn. And there is a belief among some of the state leadership that by doing that, that they can forestall further litigation. They can basically settle that case, which gives certainty to elections coming up, potentially saves the state expense of continuing to litigate for a while. I think generally the Democrats think that they may get a better deal from the courts to go ahead and continue to litigate it. But whether that brings them back or not, I don't know. There's quite a number of folks in the Senate and the House that think that they probably will be back for redistricting special session at this point.
You talk about the courts, you know, and we've been talking about the summer session possibility, but what about the thing we keep hearing about the courts and school finance? That trial is still going to be playing out, and we had previously been talking about maybe a spring special session next year.
There's a belief by the budget writers, the Republican leaders, that by putting back this $3.4 billion of the formula money for public schools, that Judge Dietz here in Austin, who has the case, he's held back his opinion till the session's over, that this will affect him in a positive way for the state, the defendants in the suit. That's their belief, but we'll see.
Do you think that's the case?
I think there's a good possibility that that will take care of that case, at least in some respects. I think there's going to be some effects from whatever ruling there is, but I think Bob's right about that.
So Governor Perry, you know, how do you think he's done this session as far as what we might see from him in the future?
You know, there's a lot of people in the Capitol who think that Perry is not going to run again and he's not going to run for president. But you know, there's some people who also believe he probably will run again. So the only guy who knows is Governor Perry, and he hasn't said yet.
There's a lot of reasons. There's also people that believe he won't run for governor but will run for president. One of the big issues there is how does he raise the money for president if he's not the sitting governor, but it takes away some headaches not to be governor. But then there's other people that say he'll run for governor just to spite all of us who are saying he won't run. In other words, he's mad about the UT fight that he's had. Those emails reveal that he considers that a rather personal fight, that he doesn't like all the disrespect he's kind of getting under the table. People are eager to see the guy go because all of them can move up if there's movement at the top. But he's still the guy there. He's got he's been underestimated by his enemies repeatedly, and
exactly.
He's in command of his future here. Let's see what he does.
It seems like every time I walk into the Senate, you guys are sitting over at that press table, so you get to see the Lieutenant Governor a lot. What do you think his future plans are going to be?
He's going to run for re-election. I don't think he has any plans beyond that at this moment. But, you know, it is correct that as long as Perry is where he is, there's other people who can't move up. So there's been a lot of Republicans in a holding pattern here for some time from future ambitions, probably.
I mean, the idea that he's a tough guy to beat was stripped away by Ted Cruz last year, but the best thing he has going for him right now is that he has two opponents. Jerry Patterson, the land commissioner, and Todd Staples, the agriculture commissioner. And that's great if he can divide the opposition.
So real quick, between those three, Dewhurst, Patterson, Staples, who do you think has the best chance of getting the GOP nomination?
Boy, that's a tough one. I think that Todd Staples is a famously good retail campaigner, but this is a big state, so I don't know that plays into it. Jerry Patterson is compelling in other ways as a speaker and quirky guy. Dewhurst has the money and sort of the establishment. That'll be, I guess, one of the questions will be who will get the Tea Party, the energized conservative base.
Exactly, and one thing for sure, that'll be an interesting campaign.
Yeah. You throw Jerry Patterson into the mix, it's always going to be interesting.
Right.
I don't ever say anything about him because he's packing.
Thank you guys for being with us. I appreciate it. And our conversation continues online. Be sure to visit the legislative section of KXAN.com. There you will find my blog and our guide to the legislative process and our list of the major players. It is all in our legislative section on KXAN.com. You can email me your thoughts and questions at josh.hinkle@KXAN.com. You can also find me on Twitter here at Hinkle J. Thanks for joining us for In Session In Depth. And remember, next week we're on an hour later at 9:30. Have a great morning.